All right, so Healing Conversations is the name of our webinar series that we've started with Portage Family Healing Center. It is a space to share educational information about different topics that we come up with, and we'll go more into what we're talking about today just in a moment. So it was created really just as another space to have conversations about things that support our healing, things that support different aspects of our life. And I'm very excited myself to get into it. I like to learn more, and we learn a lot through sharing. So I learn just as much, I think, as I share information with all of you. And that was kind of where this came out of. There's a range of different topics, and that the team here at Portage Family Healing will be teaching about over the time coming. They are all for education purposes, right? This is not therapy. This is not medical advice. It's not a to-do list. So more just education to share with you on these different topics, and then you can take with you what makes sense for you. Uh, Introduce myself. I'm Jessica Griffin. Hey, I'm a therapist, licensed professional counselor here at Portage Family Healing Center, and really excited to be here sharing some information with all of you. You may notice I glanced down because my notes will keep me on topic rather than going into too much conversation because we have a time limit today. So my notes will make sure that I'm sharing with you all that I was hoping to. Today feels like quite a bit of information. So again, take what helps and leave the rest. So today's webinar, I'm going to move myself. Okay. Technology. There we go. Okay. Today's webinar topic is understanding the nervous system in everyday life, which that topic in itself, I'm like, oh, there is a lot to share. I tried to piece it up where we can understand it in a way that makes sense to what we may experience. And everybody is so very different. So understanding the nervous system in everyday life, and why is that important to understand? Our picture here shows the brain and also shows all these different pieces. Like there's just so much that our brain is responsible for, right? It's the control center, it's the command center. So it's giving out all of these different messages to different parts of our body. So it's very important then to understand like what's going on, what's going on within that. It goes from our heartbeat to our breathing to handling stressors. So gaining this information can help us better ourselves. That's the hope, right? The more information we get, we can handle life better. We can handle future stressors in a better way. If that's your goal too, then let's just like keep listening, keep following along, and I'll share with you some more information about that. Okay. All right. So with that, like I was saying, when we gain the wisdom, we gain the understanding about all of these different topics. Yes, it can help regulate our emotional response. We can reduce or manage the future stressors that come our way, improve our mental, our physical health. Like that's sometimes we read books, sometimes we seek webinars, we read articles, we gain information to move forward. That is a lot of what this will be. However, we can gain a whole lot of wisdom and then still not take action. So that would be that next step. And that's a individual. We'll talk more about that, but this is an individual step because only you will know what's going to work best for yourself and what steps are the next ones for you. So again, this is not it's not a to-do list. It's not a step-by-step because we are all so different. We're going to learn the basics today and figure out what might be helpful for you. All right. So for that, to get you in the space, uh, I want this question to be one that hopefully you can hold on to for the course of this webinar and other times where you are reading a book, reading an article, listening to a talk. This is the question to reflect on. How can I use this information for self-improvement? How can you use the information that you're learning and apply it to your life? Right? How you're going to learn it. If we were sitting in a classroom right now and I had, five of you are sitting in the front row, how the first person takes what I share is not how the second person is going to. The third person is going to need a whole different world of information. You see what I mean? Is we're all so different that we're all going to take little bits of what I share today. For one, you might know a lot of what I share today, and that's fine too. Uh, and then there's others who are like, wow, this is so much information. I don't know where to start, right? It's going to be a range for each of us and figuring out, now that I know this, what's helpful for me. Okay, so that is the question to reflect on as we go forward. How can I use this information for self improvement? So, to give you a heads up on the agenda, because you all signed up and you came into this webinar and you knew the title and you have no idea what I was going to put into it. So, here's a little bit of the lay of the land. Okay, we're going to start with science. I want to break down the two different modes of our nervous system. I'm going to try not to get too deep. It might feel like a lot. Again, I'll be really repetitive when I say take what's important. Then we're going to look at the everyday states of our nervous system. So we're going to see some examples of what we might notice in our day, what pushes us to not be regulated, what pushes us into dysregulation. We may already be guessing on that one, some things that bother us more than others. Again, this is a general overview. Myths of regulation. So what really does it mean to have a regulated nervous system? Some general ideas or aspects on ways to support. Okay. And then I put in there question and answer time. I don't know that we'll get there. All right. So the two modes of our nervous system, we have the sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system. Okay. They work together, and I'm going to run us through a little example so we can understand what they do. So you can see I have listed here the sympathetic nervous system mobilizes, it protects, it gets us acting. Okay? It's the parasympathetic rest, restore, connection. And I'll be really careful to say our nervous system is not a good or bad, right? It's not running on like morals or ethics. It just has different jobs. And it's very important. It's very important that they work together. So I want you to listen to this story and take a moment and try to imagine what's happening, right? Imagine you're at home. It's the middle of the night and you hear a loud crash. We're all imagining, I'm feeling that. Before you think, before you even start to reason, before you tell yourself to calm down, your body reacts. Your heart speeds up, your muscles tense, your senses are sharpening. You're really listening in now. That's your sympathetic nervous system. It's there to protect. It's doing its job. Okay? So something might be wrong. Be ready. It's not anxiety. It's not failure. It is protection, right? Survival. Now, imagine that you realize the sound was just your cat knocking something over. Okay? You've got a cat. This time of year, sometimes it's our furnace kicking on in the middle of the night and making a bunch of noise. It's an ice chunk falling off the gutter, right? I don't know. It made sense. The noise made sense. This clicks in. Nothing dangerous. You're safe. Slowly, shoulders drop, starting to breathe a little bit easier. You're settling in. This is the parasympathetic nervous system coming into play. It helps you rest, restore, connect. It's the part of your system that says you're okay. You can soften. So important that these two systems are working together. The goal is not to be in have the parasympathetic working all the time, right? The goal is not to be calm all the time. We can imagine how that would go badly. The goal is to be able to move between the two states. And the problem, or what sometimes feels uncomfortable, is when we get stuck in one, right? Not when it reacts, but when we get stuck. So many of us have found that we get stuck or live more often in that sympathetic nervous system. Okay? Not because we're broken or because there's something wrong. It's just because our world is so loud. It's so demanding. There's a lot happening, right? And so our system is like, oh, we have to keep going. We have to keep moving. Okay. That doesn't mean that we need to be fixed. Again, that doesn't mean that we're broken. There's something wrong with us. It just means that we might need support in different ways. Okay. So that's how sciencey we're going to get here. We've got two different modes of our nervous system. Okay. I've got my agenda nearby to remind me that we're not going to get any deeper than that. Now we're going to look into the everyday state. So here it is. Sympathetic nervous system is, it's protecting us. Parasympathetic is, take a breath, you're okay, you're safe. And we go back and forth. Now let's take a look at how that might show up. And I have over here three ways it shows up. This is all information, okay? This is not listed in a 1, 2, 3. 1 is the best, 3 is the worst. Although in comfort wise, you might see that, but no, this is all information. So that's how we see these different states of our nervous system, okay? I think that this might be one of the best slides of the whole thing. So if you're paying attention, this is the time. If you have limited attention, let's listen in here. Okay, most of us maybe have thought of or we're taught to label our reactions as good or bad, right? Think about that. Does it feel like maybe as you look at this list, some of these things are good or bad? We might tell ourselves that, oh, we're being too dramatic, or oh, you're being really lazy. Like I said earlier, the nervous system doesn't work off of moral categories. It's not like our morals. It's not how good or bad of a person we are. It works in safety categories. So our nervous system is paying attention to how safe we are. That's it. Okay. These are 3 very normal states as we move through. And sometimes we might move back and forth beyond them multiple times in one day. You can maybe even think about that right now, just as you're looking at this list of regulated, activated, overwhelmed. Okay, let's bring them down. So number 1 there, regulated and connected. I like this first bullet is really important. It's calm enough, not calm all the time. Even when we are feeling regulated or when our system is regulated, we might not be feeling calm all the time. You can think clearly in this state. You're present. You have flexibility. So think about this example. I've got myself some examples here so I can paint a picture. You spilled your coffee and you're annoyed, but you are still breathing and you can problem solve it. Okay. I'm imagining it happens. Good thing I got water right here. Or if you're a parent, your child melts down. Okay. That's a lot. Kids kicking, screaming, crying through something. But you're staying grounded enough to say, I see you. We'll figure it out. It's that being present. Or you get a tough email. It's work. You get a tough email and you read it, you feel it, doesn't feel great, but you take a moment before you respond. In the state of being regulated, we have emotions. They're not there. The emotions are present. We are just not taken over by them. They're just not taking a hold on us. Okay. All right. Regulated felt good. Now let's move to number 2, activated or overstimulated. Okay. This is when our system starts to prepare for action. Like something might be wrong, something might be urgent. When you're here, you could feel anxious, irritated, rushed. Like your brain has 37 tabs open, like my computer. Hopefully I'm not alone. I know I'm not alone in that. I know because I've talked to others. It's a thing. But when I see that on my computer screen, all these tabs open, I'm like, oh, that's a lot. Well, this state of being active and overstimulated, it feels like a lot, can feel like a lot in our head. This is when we are snapping at our partner for something that's so small. And if we were regulated, we probably wouldn't react that way. This state is maybe one where we're constantly checking our phone. We don't even know why. We're just constantly looking at it, right? Everything feels louder. Kids, dishwasher, the air, the TV, radio. Like it's just a lot. You want to relax, but your body is not there. Okay. Your nervous system is showing up as activated and overstimulated. Third spot or third state, everyday state. These are ones that we can hit on every day. Reminder, it's just information. It's okay. It's okay if you're in all three of these multiple times a day. It's information for us, right? The third state is shut down and overwhelmed. This happens when we might be activated for so long and we move into feeling overwhelmed. It's more than too much. Okay. It's not laziness. Your system is shutting down because it's conserving energy. It's like there is nothing left. There's very little left. So I'm shutting down. Gone. Okay. This is when stress feels like too much. Your body it just feels all of this stress coming on and it has to preserve what's left. It's conserving what energy is left. So you might scroll and scroll on your phone, can't get up, can't find the motivation to get out of bed, feels tired, feel really exhausted. You might be canceling plans with friends and just because you can't, like there might even be a part of you that wants to, something really fun that's coming up, yet you feel like I just can't do it. Okay. You might still be running through the motions of doing the task, like the laundry, the dishes, making dinner, but it feels fair. You feel very disconnected from that. So if we look at being regulated, we were present all the way to shut down, overwhelmed. We're just disconnected. We're just running through the motions and not actually part of the process anymore. Okay. None of these states are bad. I'll be so annoyed that I've said that so many times by the end of this webinar. They're not bad though. They're information. Okay. It's information that we need too. So it's important that we pay attention to it. The nervous system is not trying to sabotage you. It's not trying to make you show up as a bad person, a lazy person, an unmotivated person. It's trying to keep you safe. These are states of safety for our nervous system. So the goal is also not to live in that regulated state all the time, just like it's not to be in our calm parasympathetic mode all the time. Okay. And the goal is to notice where you're at. So it's to take this information and notice where we're at and help ourselves to get more connected. But we should be able to flow back and forth on these different states. Okay. Just a moment of reflection, taking a moment to check in with yourself and say, which of these states do I feel like I am visiting most often? There's no judgment. This is growing your own awareness. Where are you most often? Okay. Okay. So when I mentioned this in the beginning, I said, what pushes us out of regulation, right? What makes us dysregulated? And I said, you could probably think of some things. We might know some of our triggers, but that's also information. It's really important to learn what our triggers are, learn what is pushing us out of regulation, especially when it's like, it feels like, why do I keep ending up dysregulated? And I'm trying so hard. Okay. So we're going to go through a little list. This is just a general example list. There's plenty of other things that we're not going to touch on because we don't have the time here for that today. Lack of sleep, So, right. I don't know that I've talked to many who said with lack of sleep, they feel good. We typically feel more irritated, right? Less patience for the day. Ongoing stress. So that's when we have maybe it's work, maybe it's finances, maybe it's health. Those are things that are ongoing, nothing that's temporary. It's lasting for longer that can make our nervous system stay activated. Too much input. That is the world around us, right? Social media, conversations, those tabs open in our brain. Not having a quiet space, a space to decompress. Emotional labor. That can really come into play actually with other people as well. So it's managing our own emotions, but we might be managing or attempting to manage others too. You might be a caretaker, might be a parent, maybe just at work, you're trying to keep the peace, get along with your coworkers. When you're out with friends, managing social situations, right? We have a lot of emotional work going on. Unpredictability. Our brain likes, or our nervous system likes patterns and predictability, expectations, likes to know what's going to happen because that creates safety. So changing schedules, unclear paths or plans, not knowing what comes next. This can even be good changes. And maybe you've noticed that before. I think this is where that statement of like, I need a vacation from my vacation comes from. Because when we go on vacations, even though they're fun, we're totally out of routine. We're often doing new things that we don't do all the time, right? It's not our daily life. And so that can throw our nervous system off. It's fun, but also it takes a toll. Okay. Regulation is not about eliminating the stressors, it's about growing our capacity and recovering. So we're making time for the emotions. Like I said, that's not, it's stress is going to happen. Life is going to be full. There's always going to be plenty of things to do. And we're just making sure, do we have enough capacity to handle it? Actually, our nervous system is asking that question for us. And then it's going to give you all of those answers in what state you are in. Right. If you're finding yourself more dysregulated really often, it doesn't mean that you're doing something wrong. It just might mean that one of these examples and or others there's just a lot happening right now. There's a lot coming into your system. Okay. Mm-hmm. All right. I'm going to go a little faster through this one, and then we will look at ways to support our nervous system. And just like I thought, we won't probably have time for Q&A here today, but I will, of course, take a look at questions and send out answers if need be. Okay, what regulation looks like. We talked a lot about this, right? It's not calm all the time. Okay, we can be frustrated, anxious. We can feel sad, and then we can still allow ourselves to keep going. So it's not positive vibes only. We're not happy all the time. We're just able to handle what comes our way. And if you try harder, probably not going to be fine. Trying harder, telling ourselves, I shouldn't feel that way, or other people have it worse. That sort of judgment on your nervous system, on yourself, could actually make you more activated than calming you down. I like this phrase, so I put it here for you to remember and repeat and write down. Regulation is not perfection. In itself, trying to be perfect can cause us stress, right? It's responsiveness. So we're taking the time to feel, as hard as that might be, and then we're allowing ourselves to move forward. Okay. So allowing ourselves to feel and then come back. Okay. Just making sure all right. So as we move into, this is very similar to the things that, some of the things that push us out of regulation. What are things that gentle ways that we can support our nervous systems. So I said predictable rhythms. Remember, unpredictability causes our nervous system to get activated, to feel like we might not be safe. So predictable rhythms would be regular wake and sleep times, eating meals at certain times of the day or around certain times of the day, breakfast, lunch, dinner. Having that sort of routine in our day provides us safety, tells our nervous system that you're getting what you need at a certain time. You can create routines in your day, right? Um, Connection. Okay. This can feel like a tough one sometimes, but connection is really important. Nervous systems are social. So we regulate with other people. We do have to be mindful of the people that we're surrounding ourselves with, right? Because we're trying to be regulated. That might be hard to do if we have the emotional labor, that emotional work of being around somebody who needs more care. Okay. So paying attention to who we're connecting with. A conversation where you feel understood is helpful. Sitting near someone who feels safe, that's important. Movement. Movement is a great way to regulate. It's not exercise, not like pushing your body, just moving. You might even feel sometimes when you are activated that it feels like, I got to do something. I get out of here. I got to move. You feel in that stuck spot. So walking, stretching, even moving back and forth, just like a sway, some sort of gentle movement that helps to move energy. And this is for some, stillness helps. For some, more movement helps. So remember, not a checklist here. We're all very, very individual. It's a lot of trial and error trying to figure out what works best for us. Okay. Rest, we talked about that. Lack of rest, not great. So rest is important. It might be sleep. That might be just a quiet moment. It might be time without being interrupted. Finding different ways to allow your system to rest. Nutrition could be its own 2-hour webinar. So nutrition is really important though. And the basics of that is getting enough nourishment, getting enough fuel. Okay. There are plenty more detailed things you can look into in regards to nutrition and what supports our nervous system best, but making sure to get enough fuel. And support system. So that's your friends, family, therapists, coaches, groups, community spaces. Having support is not because you are weak. It's really important, right? We don't seek support just because we have a weakness. We seek support because we know that our nervous system just really needs that. Okay, that's really important. All right. Different people support their systems in different ways. Okay. No specifics, no protocols. These are options that you have, different areas to look into. Some reminders as we end. Nothing you learned today means something is wrong with you. Not at all. This is all information. Again, educational webinar to learn more about what our nervous system is doing. When we have a better understanding, we can understand the cues that are coming through, right? We now know that if we're in an activated state of, our nervous system is in an activated state, it's not because we did anything. It's just communicating with us that it might need some special supports, right? It means our body is doing its job. I mentioned this in the beginning and I want to mention it again. What do you do next? You take what fits. We talked about some general supports. You leave what doesn't. You don't care about the terms parasympathetic and sympathetic nervous system. That's okay. Right? There are certain things that we talked about in this brief time that may not fit with where you're at. That's okay. Okay. Take what's important and be gentle with yourself as you go.